Hello again. It's been a while. It's been about a month, which is both quite a while and not at the same time in the grand scheme of things. Not as much as one would expect has been done. Makes you really kind of appreciate the time a lot of people put into these builds. I'm pretty sure was there last time. Just a lot of the surface rust was grinded down. The whole thing still obviously needs to be sanded before any sort of epoxy gets laid down and whatnot. But as you can see, we got our heater channels put in. We have our front quarter panels put in, as well as along with the A-pillars, where the door sits. That was also put in just a few weeks ago, and as you can see, obviously it needs to be cleaned up, freshened up a little bit. You can see some of the welds where we had to put it in from the backside, and these are spot welds that we used for putting in this panel. Obviously we're gonna actually have to do a little bit more to that, because as you can see, there is a little bit of gappage going on. That's right, gappage is the word for today. But yeah, quarter panels, or front lower quarter panels, are put in. The interior is all stripped out. Last time we had that luggage rack, all the carpet was there. That has been taken out. As you can see, if I zoom in, this had to be removed. I was doing some spot blasting with a little spot sandblaster. Not the greatest in my opinion. We're gonna be going over it actually tomorrow with a proper sandblaster and probably doing much more of the area of this vehicle. But just in this area, as I was doing it, we were actually putting pinholes in it, so I had to cut that whole section out because obviously it was getting a little too thin. Behind all of this, that little grill piece, there is some surface rust appearing on the slots. I don't quite know how to get to that without removing that whole panel, which I really don't want to do. If anyone here is more avid with Volkswagens, has done this before, put something in the comments about what you did to do it. Did you guys just put like a fluid film behind it to stop the process? Whatever you may have done, I'm definitely curious of knowing. This panel still needs to be done. This back, kind of this inner panel here. We did get this panel put back in. We took it out just to access the back side of everything, as well as put in some protectant in the back, like some weld through primer and then some other stuff. This is what's left from redoing this inner panel as well. You can see it's all black and gross from getting heated up from the weld. And then we have the inner part, or the outer part I mean, that's all finished up too. So there is more to be done. Like, we were hitting everything with a little needle scaler. It does a really good job of just taking this old undercoat just away. Obviously it did unfortunately highlight a couple of problem areas, like right there. And if we move on to the other side, have not touched this side yet a whole lot. As you can see though, we did get this exterior done, so really a lot of small fine details, just kind of cinching things up. Really, the small parts, like the small little bits, take just as much time as the big panels, just because like the little bits, sorry my finger got in the way there, but the little bits actually take just as much time, because usually you can't buy like the little pieces. You gotta make those yourself. And like in this little arch here, we had to do little panels and little bits along the lip, redo some pieces. As you can see, that's probably gonna have to get sandblasted. It's already bubbling up. Some of it was just that wax stuff that we sprayed some over, so it's not all like rust or anything, but like that has to be cleaned up a little bit. That kind of, not a fantastic welder, I'm not gonna lie, so I kind of boogered that up just a little bit. Like there's area where some wire comes through a little bit. We had to we cut out the old one just because with all the cutting and everything, it got a little damaged and it wasn't welded the greatest, so it didn't have proper kind of fusion. So we had to cut out the old one and put in these ones. I got these from California import. These are the higher quality. Instead of the Clocker Home, these are the I think they're the Autocraft. They're UK made, much better steel, which I wish they offered more pieces for Volkswagen Beetles, but they mostly do a lot of bus stuff, which is fair enough. The bus is the more popular to restore, or not more popular, but it's the more desirable. But anyway, so we got this put in, and then, but yeah, when we cut out the old one, they were like just about exactly the same height, but there was a little bit of a gap, so we had to like form just a little bit of metal just to fill in that tiny gap between like where the two didn't quite meet up. But yeah, exciting stuff. So like I said, tomorrow we're gonna do the sandblasting. We're gonna get all these little nooks and crannies that are really hard to get to. We're gonna have to remove, so hopefully this is just surface rust. My biggest fear is I'm gonna hit it with a sandblaster and put a hole in it, which I desperately hope we don't do. I'm kind of hoping it's just surface rust. It's just kind of, you know, moderate, not the best, but you know, still containable. Because like on this side of the panel it's not great, but on this side you can see it's pretty clean. So like I said, I'm hoping it's just from years of sitting outside. And then we got to do all these little weld nuts that, or you know, like where the fender bolts onto essentially. And then we got to finish taking off this undercoat. As you can see, it's very weathered, very old. Did a fantastic job, mind you. Like in the areas that didn't like start rotting from a different location and then spread underneath of it, it did a really good job. So shout out to the factory or the dealer, whoever put it in, great work. But yeah, and then that's just that's not a rust hole, that's just where one of the lines or something usually goes. I think that's where this Speedo, is it Speedo? I do believe it's where that Speedo line goes through. But anyways, pretty short, pretty simple. I'm hoping to do another video very soon, because when I get sandblasted, hopefully it'll be one step closer to this next step, which will be doing epoxy primer. I'm going to sand down the whole thing, and then we're going to do an epoxy primer on all of it just to seal up everything. And then we're going to be going over it with obviously the filler where needed, maybe a filler coat as well, like a filler primer. And then we'll be moving on to the paint. For the paint, we're actually going to be going right back to, it's a factory color, which is that L519, which is the Bahama blue. I decided we're just going to go back to, you know, the color that it originally was. I do quite enjoy the paint color on it, so I figure should just keep it the way it came, right? So anyways, hope to see you guys a little bit sooner than compared to the last video. Enjoy the weekend and have a good one.